There we are. Cool. We are live. Yes. I already told this to the people that are following RCR and RC Airsoft, and actually, when post, little links come up as like little like notifications, they say, "Oh, well, run." Yeah, I'm excited about this event, ladies and gentlemen, and the numbers are popping up. People are jumping in. Thank you so much for jumping in. For those of you that had to, well, were not had to, but were just excited about the first live cast. We're not the first; it's actually the second one, but the one on Thursday, and jumped on there. Almost 30 people, and you watched. Thank you very much for being there. And if you're back tonight, thank you again. It was unfortunate what happened on Thursday night, but we're back. We're bad. We're ready to go. And look who's here.
Actually, yes! This time.
Mr. Boyle is here. Everybody, Mr. Matt Boyle is with me from Stryker Airsoft Industries. I'm RC Ron, Rage Custom Airsoft, RC Airsoft, now Grey Wolf Airsoft, and Wasteland Ops Airsoft. Wow, I just make a list. But anyway, things are awesome for me, but not as awesome as this event that's coming up. Yeah, we're already up to 20 people jumping on. Thank you very much. This is really, really awesome. I'm going to do my best while Matt talks to grab all of your questions, because please forgive me if I miss one. Maybe you have to repeat yourself. Hey, we got Ryan. We got, oh, wait a minute. My hey all didn't go through. Damn. All right, there we go. ATL, Tan's already checking in. Somebody's already focused. Awesome. Tan is checking in. That is a cool snake logo, Ryan. That is pretty darn cool, man.
That's their company. That's their company meme.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And the Infidels. Miami Infidels are here. Thank you very much for watching. That's awesome. Delta in the building. Reapers Rejects, man. Woo! Bring it, baby. I love all these people jumping on and just promoting their teams or their groups, whatever. Tan, another guy from Tan. That's awesome. Reapers. This is great. Look at the snakes. There's snakes everywhere. Oh, my God. This is creepy. Snakes on a live cast instead of snakes on a plane. Cover Company here. Yes, awesome. I don't know if I'm ready for Cobra. If they are ready for Cobra Company. He's already starting it. He's saying, y'all better be ready, but I don't think you are. Wow, there's a lot of tan jumping on. Tan everywhere, man. I'm going to change the color of the background or something here. G Unit's on. Awesome, guys. This is freaking cool, man. I love this. This excitement, this focus you guys have. This is, what else we got? The tryhards. Yes. Mr. Laz Cologne's on. Awesome. Good to see you guys on here. Very, very cool. Brandon, good to see you. Jonathan, let's go. Tryhards. Yep, another tryhards. There we go. Oh, we got somebody flexing their guns. We got another snake. Oh my God, there's another snake. This is awesome. I mean, this is, we're up to almost 30. We're at 29 now. This is fantastic. I love to see you guys here. I'm excited. I hope I'm transmitting that out to you guys. And it looks like from these comments, and I can only watch one string, man, you guys are excited too. Pandemic Airsoft's on. Awesome. Red Claws are here. Oh, jeez. Oh, my goodness. Try hard.
The Pan team this year has actually really got their stuff together. They've got their own little coalition going on. I actually went to visit the new field here in Orlando, Outdoor Extreme, and they were doing just a straight-up training day. They weren't even playing. There were about 50 people out there from the Tan faction. They all got the tickets, and they were just doing CQB training, radio training, command training. So they're coming. They're not holding any punches back this time.
Man, that is awesome. I haven't seen that in a long time. A team or group actually pre-prepping. You know, some of them just show up on Friday and say, "Hey, everybody, all right, you guys ready?" No, you guys are stepping it up. You're doing the Boy Scout motto, being prepared. That's what I like to see. We got more Reapers Rejects. We got Iron Company checking in. Is Iron Company...
Iron Company's thing.
Is it? Yep. All right, where's the green, guys? Come on, we got this green on here.
We got the Cobra people.
Oh my God, yes we do. Tan, Matt, tell Pops Reapers Reject said Happy Father's Day. Okay, absolutely, yes. I'm hoping Pops we'll see this and see that. That's very nice of you to say. So yeah, oh my God, I finally reached the end of the comments. Thank you very much for your enthusiasm. Cobra, Green Who, Last Cologne, of course, chiming in. Green.
There's a very interesting dynamic going on with Tan. A lot of the green teams that were heavy hitters at all the mini milsims have actually switched over to Tan. Pops has done so well over the last 3 games that he has this own like mythic quality about him. So everybody's there to like take down Pops. These teams have all gone over to Tan. They're all coming together, and they're going to take down Pops. That's their mission. They're going to put him down.
Bravo. Bravo to that. That is taking a lick, learning a lesson, and saying, you know what, next time, it's going to make it all happen. I appreciate and respect that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Tan rules, Reaper rejects. I mean, you guys are in here. This is absolutely awesome, you guys. I haven't seen this much excitement on a live cast when it comes to a significant group. I've seen arguments, which is fun too, but this is really just a enthusiasm. You guys are like standing outside the stadium ready to get in. This is awesome. Iron Company here, yes, thicker than Snickers this year. I gotta put that one up. Yeah, man, Iron Company here, thicker than Snickers. That is awesome. Oh man, the energy, fantastic, guys. And of course we've got, let's see, Mr. Romine that said, "What's a green team?" Oh, I see how it is. So. From reading these comments, it looks like it's just going to be a big tan party at this AO. It's going to be 250 dudes standing out in the middle partying. Nah, I'm sure Green's going to get their motivation going. You guys are just well prepared and currently preparing, evidently physically preparing. That was awesome. Oh, man, that's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I'm going to try to keep track of these, as I mentioned, and as everybody knows, we are here to talk about Op Casevac. Happened October 6th to the 8th. Just under 4 months away, everybody. Stryker Airsoft Industries, represented by Matt Boyle, is here to answer questions as I can give them to him. And the way things are going, Matt, I'm telling you right now, brother, I might be interrupting you a lot, but I'll see if I can pop them up on the screen, see if you can know, because Matt's got some great information for us tonight. Oh, wait a minute. Russ Younger just popped in. There he is. Green's here. Yes, they finally showed their face. Woohoo! Awesome, Russ. Man, it's good. I see you on these live casts quite often. Thank you very much for punching in there. I do have to mention, just in case you just came in, you are surrounded currently right now. Might want to call in some support. You know what I'm saying? So we are. Tan needs a training. Oh, here it goes. I'm going to watch these, and while Matt's talking, if I'm giggling, it's because I'm going to watch what's happening. So all of you that are watching this, take a look at the comments as they fill out, because this is awesome. You guys are already starting the back and forth. So we're here to talk about Op Casevac. I'm going to hand it off to Mr. Matt Boyle, and do my best to keep up with the questions. Thanks, everybody. Matt, it's all yours, baby.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get the stuff that nobody wants to hear about out of the way first, because it's only one thing. Unfortunately, we're not going to be having any vehicles at the event, no player vehicles. We have 2 transport vehicles that staff will be running. Those are going to be big U-Hauls. We're going to get the bigger U-Hauls so we can try and get 30, maybe 40 people into them so that we can make sure that transportation isn't going to become an issue. But because of the way that our insurance is written, people who are going to be driving the vehicle have to be specifically on staff. Now, this is the first time I've dealt with like a really big insurance company, so we can go back and forth with them, and that may change as we lead up to the event. But right now, there are going to be no player vehicles. However, I don't want anybody to be worried about that. Most of the AO is split into 2 sections. We call it inside and outside the wire. Inside the wire is all of your highly urban zones. It's about 40 of the acres, where you're not going to need a vehicle. It's going to be almost like the inside of the prison, where you can get from any building one to the other just by walking. And frankly, any vehicle driving around in there would just be dead all the time anyway, because you are always within a grenade throw distance of the building. So vehicles in there would just be dead all the time. The main thing that we're using the U-Hauls for is for transporting players for what we're calling outside the wire. The other 40 acres is an abandoned neighborhood on the other side of an 8-foot tall with barbed wire on top fence. And our issue with designing the event was that the fence, everything inside the wire is inside the wire because it's completely enclosed inside of this barbed wire fence. There's one entrance in and out. So that's an excellent opportunity for us to build actual fragos in. So when you leave the wire, you are completely cut off from your HQ, you're completely cut off from your command, you're completely cut off from support. The only way you're getting support is if command calls the U-Hauls and transports another platoon out there, almost like a helicopter drop. Once you're out there, you're out there. Whatever you brought with you is whatever you brought with you. And we're going to have some really cool missions on outside the wire. And when you go back into the wire, it's going to be the same deal where U-Haul is going to come to the evac site, pick you up, bring you back inside the wire. And with the size of the U-Hauls that we're looking to get, we're really going to be able to make almost like a mini event for those who are outside the wire, because you're going to get dropped off at one side and your mission's more than likely going to be on the other side. So you're going to have to traverse all the way through the neighborhood. All of these buildings were going to get opened. We don't have any pictures of these buildings currently because when we went to visit the site initially, we didn't plan to have any of those buildings because the property owner didn't own them. The only way we got camping is by purchasing the entire sector of all of those buildings. So now they're in place. So we're going to take pictures. We've been told all of them are openable. All of them are still completely furnished. Those were all civilian housing back when this was an actual military base. And they're not single family residence buildings. They're actually duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes. So those are actually pretty significant size structures there. You can see them kind of all in the north reach there. So there's going to be a lot of really cool fragos going on outside the wire, and it's going to be a really interesting, dynamic because you'll be isolated out there from the main combat, isolated from your support, maybe even isolated from your command staff if you have a really short-range radio. And then at the very end, there is a double motel and a church building up on the top left there. I can't see the numbers, but it's in the Alpha Bravo Charlie section up at the top left. Those are all enormous motel buildings. So there's a ton going on outside the wire. And honestly, making sure that the U-Hauls are under staff control really allow us to build out that experience outside the wire, make it something truly special so that there's not like 6 people being brought out in a place that's going to, separate you from wherever your mission is. They're going to be brought out in platoon size strength. They're going to be Casevac'd back to your HQ with casualties. It's going to be really cool. But that's not going to be the whole event. Because so many of the urban areas are inside the wire, that's really going to be where a lot of the heavy all-day fighting is going to be. The way that the buildings are set up, it's almost going to be like the Guardian Center. Anybody who's been to the Guardian Center knows that once you get into the city area, it's just room to room, building to building. There's like 8 feet between you and the next building. It is really brutal close quarters fighting in there. And that's pretty much what's going to be going on inside the wire. And just to alleviate some fears, I know some people have had this experience in the past. It's not going to be a situation where you have to know somebody in the brass or you have to personally know the battalion commander to get on one of those U-Hauls to go outside the wire and do that stuff. We're going to have them scheduled so that if you want to go out, the U-Haul is going to be there and you're going to get picked up and you're going to get brought out. You're not going to be denied going outside the wire just because you're not part of that team or whatever's going on. We want to make sure that every player has that experience, because when you purchase your ticket, to a certain degree, this is your story. This is your team story. It's your individual story at this event. And that means that you should have the ability to go do everything on that AO, regardless of whether you're best buddies with whoever's running your faction. So we want to make sure that we're communicating that well, because I know that's been an issue with previous events, and I personally have been both a victim and a beneficiary of that, and I just don't think it's fair to players who they show up, you got 2 buddies, and you're here to run this event, and unfortunately you don't know everybody, so you don't get on the U-Haul. It's not going to be a situation like that. With that, the camping is confirmed. The camping costed a lot of money that we did not have in our original budget. However, we are not going to take that out on everybody because it's not your fault. We're going to commit to our $185 price. The reason we're doing $10 per tent, not per camper, $10 per tent and $20 per RV, is just so we can recoup some of that additional cost that we incurred and not do it in a way that's like astronomically painful for those who've already bought a $185 ticket. So you're going to get a good camping area. I talked to the facility owner. They're going to get it all mowed down. You can kind of see on there that there's roads, so you can actually drive your vehicles out there on the hard road that's covered in grass now. There's some buildings right to the left of it that we've put designated inside the safe area for if your team wants to take pictures. Vendor row is going to be right there as well. And you're going to be able to drive in through a safe driving area to where you're not going to have to drive through the AO. So it ends up being a great area, but we are going to have to do that $10 per tent just to, bring some of that back up. We're not going to make nearly as much money back as we spent just to get that little 5 acres, but it'll help us out a little bit. Because in the long run, that'll allow us to buy a couple of additional props. That'll allow us to get a couple more refs out there. And to be honest, if we have the option of between, having players spend $10 on a tent, and maybe there's 25 tents out there, and getting another ref inside the play area, I guarantee you at the end of the day, you guys are going to want another ref in there every single day of the week, because the more refs we can put on that field, the more the gameplay is going to be super smooth. You want to feel like you're clearing your throat? He's raising his hand. Go ahead.
I'm raising my hand. All right. I got some questions coming in. I got this. The question here spawns for tan and green. I kind of answered it in the listing here about. I said it's going to be in the op board when that's released. Do you have any idea we might be able to show tonight, or is that still all kind of in the planning stage?
People will get it when the op board comes out, and I am a man who studies the op boards for every event that I go to. And I do that because I want to be prepared. So I know that everyone who's asking me this is really annoyed that the op boards aren't out yet. And we had the op boards pretty much ready when we had just our normal space that we were going to work with. And because we've acquired all this additional AO, we've had to completely scrap every bit of the op board, including the spawns, including the objectives, and we've had to start over from scratch. We have another site visit planned in the next couple of weeks where we're going to go out, we're going to get more drone footage, we're going to take more pictures. The commanding officers are going to be there so they can kind of check the place out and start presenting their battle plans. By that point, we'll have done the site walkthrough. We'll know where the fences end. We'll know where the fences start. We'll know which buildings are inhabitable so that we can sort of develop the gameplay beyond that. But I would expect that by the end of July, the op boards will be out. But I don't want to put out op boards, and have one of the most important bloody things of the whole game is where the spawns are. If we fuck that up, then everything else is basically worthless. The spawns have to be. If the objectives are crap, if the the rules are wonky, if the fence is in the wrong spot, as long as the spawns are good, everything else will be at least halfway decent. So we cannot screw up the spawns. So we'll get the op boards out as soon as we make sure that they're going to be good.
Awesome. Let me dip in here real quick. We had a question about the address from Glenn. Hey, Glenn. If you go to the ticket site and you click on one of the tickets, doesn't matter which one it is, green, tan, doesn't matter. If you click on it, it shows you the information of the exact address. That's the fastest way to actually find it, through your own observations. It's in Arcadia, Florida. If you're just looking for drive times, it's right outside Arcadia, Florida, but the exact address is in the ticket information when you click on one of them. Also, somebody did ask about where the fences are on the map, and as Matt just said, when he's going to be there, he's going to get a better idea of where all the fences are, and we'll be able to give you a better impression of that on the next visit. And number 3, I am going to personally go down there with those guys. I don't care if I have to hang off the ball hitch on the back of their truck. I'm going down there because I'm drinking my drone. I'm bringing my drone. I'm bringing my mobile camera. I'm doing all this stuff. I want to get all those images people are looking for, the insides, the scan of the outside, so you can get a really good impression. So keep posting, keep all that, keep looking, because we will be posting that stuff. And from what I've already seen so far, it's going to be super exciting. Super, super exciting. All right, Matt, back to you. Sorry, I just had to punch in and catch up.
People might understand my issue with choosing the spawns if I tell them where the fence is. So the fence that we know about, and so there's only one entrance and exit to the fence, which makes it very hard to, because I don't want to put one spawn right there at the entrance exit and the other spawn way far away from it, because that'll be an unfair advantage. But essentially, the fence line runs between 14 and 15 from Kilo all the way up to Foxtrot, takes a 90-degree left all the way down Foxtrot from 14 to 10, and then follows the semicircle all the way to that entrance and exit thing that you can kind of see at the top of that circular road. So effectively, the AO is cut entirely in half. So the question is there a second gate over maybe by Kilo? Is there a way that we could put in a second gate with a facility management team to make it more flowy? Is that building that is enormous that we didn't even look at the letters and numbers are gone now, but that major humongous building to the right of the A-frame buildings, which those A-frame buildings are big, so that building's got to be massive to the it's to the south of that big parking block. Is that even habitable? Like, can we let people in there? There's a lot of questions that we have to answer for all this new space for places we didn't even go in, for pictures of these places that we don't even have. So I'm not going to commit to spawns. We have a general idea for what we want the objectives to be, which I'll talk about later, but we're not going to do any of that until we go and visit the site one more time, because it has to, the spawns especially have to be absolutely perfect. And because of the way the fence is, we need to know exactly the way the fence is to make sure that it's perfect. Because I know plenty of people, even in pickup games, you go to a pickup game and the spawns are just in terrible spots and it ruins the whole game. We don't want to have that. There's way too much money on the line for you guys to have shitty spawns for a 2-day event. So we're going to make sure that we get everything taken care of, but we're going to do it right. And that means that, unfortunately, we have to wait a little bit longer for putting that information out. Let's see. All right. Let me see what else is on there. Covered that. Covered the neighborhood buildings. I'm excited to see what's in those. Supposedly, they're still fully furnished. Let's see.
Sorry, I faded out to answer some questions. A couple of them were directed at me. So if I got behind, I'm sorry. I did see the information from Bill Gary replying to Richard Hive. He meant EG67s. If you talk about any kind of grenades, Grey Wolf Airsoft, RC Airsoft, they're slashed. There's going to be more than just us out there. There's going to be vendors out there. For the EG67s, yeah, that's a given. If I don't have 5 cases of it for this event, I won't even show up. So, yes, you'll have EG67 accessibility. And someone asked about the tag-in line. Tag-ins are very hard to get. I check with the national distributor from time to time to see when they're available, and they usually come in just in bundles enough for that distributor to be able to sell themselves, which is kind of sucky because they don't get that much in. But when I got check in hand ready to buy thousands of dollars worth of tagging stuff if it becomes available. If it does, and I have confirmed order, we will let the airsoft community know that they will be available at this event. But it really is a supply issue. It's not because we don't want to carry them. It's not because we don't want to do this or that. It's just a supply issue. There's just not enough to go around, it seems like. But definitely Enola Gay products. Definitely the smokes, the grenades. We're definitely going to have those. And I'm sorry if I'm jumping in here too strongly, Matt, but I do want to remind people, a large event. We got a lot of players coming in. No hot burning grenades. Just remember that. EGs and tag-ins are technically cold burning, but no hot burning bangs and smokes. They all have to be cold burning like the EGs. So, because this is a grassy, dry area, we don't want to have any fires. And I'll shut up and go back to Matt. Sorry, man.
No, that's a good point for me to mention. We're still going to be sticking with the like sickly yellow smoke grenades as being lethal. We still count those as gas grenades for this event, and we've done it for Mini Milsim, but those who might not be familiar with it, the yellow gas grenades we treat like essentially nerve gas. So you throw it within 15 feet of the plume until the grenade runs out of plume. That is a lethal area. Anyone who runs into it, anyone who is there is dead if they're inside of it. However, smoke grenades cannot be used inside of any of the buildings. I know that many milsim players who've been to a lot of milsims already know this, but for those who don't, for those who are watching the stream and plan to go, and this is the first time they're going to an event, you cannot use the smoke inside buildings. They will completely color all of the walls. They may cause fires inside of the building if they're thrown next to a super flammable thing. Everyone in the building who may have asthma will definitely be having problems if you throw smoke into a building that has no ventilation, which none of these had ventilation. There's no power, there's no water on the site. So absolutely no smoke grenades inside the buildings. EG-67, your tag and frag grenades, those are all fine, but no smoke grenades inside of any of the buildings.
Absolutely, yeah. It sounds like it'd be a cool, so smoke inside the building, but it actually increases the safety factor dramatically. Not only lung inhalation, but also people can't see, they can trip, fall, people get hurt. It's not worth it. Not worth it, and so it's completely unsafe. Well, Glenn Daddy just had something to say last milsim. Ooh, I don't know what milsim he's talking about, but that sucks. Throwing smoke through windows into a place, man. That's just that's.
Yeah, we won't be having any of that.
It's just unsafe, man. I mean, yeah, we're out there to have a good time, but we don't want people to get really hurt. Come on, it's the way it is. So yeah. It's not worth the safety. Throwing smoke at the building is stupid. Yes, Ray, you're absolutely right. Didn't know about that, Glenn. Didn't know that. I don't know if Matt can see the comments, but so anyway, I'm just going to add on to what I was saying before, guys. I don't. If you follow RC, the YouTube or whatever, I put out videos. I like making videos. I mean, it doesn't matter if I suck at it or if I'm awesome at it. I like making the videos, and I'm going to be doing some recording next time we're down there at the AO, some serious recording, aerial and ground, getting you guys a really good perspective of what this place has to offer. And I got to say, just from what I've seen, it's awesome. I mean, look at the orange lines on the screen. I mean, it's not even fully shown here. All those buildings are inside. All those buildings inside the orange lines. Yeah. I mean, this is one of those events where you can go and do your duty, play for your team the way you're supposed to, and do what's asked of you. And you go out and you have a good time, and you're there all weekend. And then when you leave, you realize that you didn't see half of the damn AO. That is that kind of AO, and that makes you just okay. Next time I come back, I got to see this, and I got to see that, and I got to see this. I get new experiences. That is ultra exciting to me because it's such a complex AO. All right.
Answer the question about booby traps. So if you have a grenade that has a spoon that you can put something on top of, that's fine. What we're not allowing is any type of tripwires. It is not safe. I allowed tripwires for one event once, and literally 3 people ate shit at that one event, and one person actually got a tripwire wrapped around their throat. I will never allow tripwires ever again at any event that I'm ever a part of. So it is not going to be a thing that's going to be happening at this event.
No. This is another question, but before we go to that, I just want to say yes, those trap devices are cool, but we still have to worry about tripping. I know you say, well, it's airsoft, you're going to fall down. But if you trip, especially inside buildings, man, God knows what could happen. Not everyone wears helmet and full face and all that stuff. It's just not worth it. And it's been proven over and over again that that's not really a thing for airsoft. If people really want to play in a semi-safe environment. How are you addressing how much CQB there is with minimum engagement distance? That's a good question.
So there is no minimum engagement distance for a submachine gun, for a rifle, or for a handgun. All 3 of those have no minimum engagement distance. To be frank, this is a 18 and older event. It is a milsim event. It is expected that you will take engagements as those 3 classes pretty much face to face, especially when you're breaching through doorways in enemy controlled buildings. There's nothing that can be done. The jewel limits are where they are specifically so that we can facilitate that. So anybody who can engage with no minimum engagement distance is at a power to where that will be safe for everybody. If you are a light machine gun, if you are a DMR, if you are a sniper rifle, you have 50 feet, 75 feet, 100-foot engagement distances, you are going to need a handgun because you essentially cannot fire inside of any of the buildings. You can't fire. So I'm not going to get into that. I'll do that on.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole you're going down because it takes a lot of explaining, but it is explained in the rule set. Just read that up. They've got a rule set. It's already on the site. Download it, check it out. It's very common rule basis. It's if you played Milsim with other companies before, you're going to see there's a lot of connectivity there, a lot of common ground, and it comes down to safety for everybody. There's a question on the screen for you, Matt. Gas mask save you from gas or no? That's a good question.
So the answer is yes. For as long as we have the gas grenade, we will allow the gas mask to be a part of the event. However, it has to be, and this is very specific, and there's a safety reason we do it this way. Your gas mask has to specifically be a lower that you can take on and put off in the game without removing your main set of iPro. It cannot be a full-blown gas mask. And there's two reasons for that. First off, a lot of gas masks are just frankly not ANSI-rated, and we're not going to allow that. Second off, it's still the beginning of October, and so your ass is going to be hot and breathing heavily, and the likelihood of you passing out while wearing a gas mask is drastically higher than when you're not wearing a gas mask, to be frank. So it has to be something that can come on and off, like an M95 or one of those painter's things that you just kind of dangle it at your neck, and then when the gas grenade comes up, you take it, you put it up like this, and then when the gas is passed, you just throw it down like that. It has to specifically be some form of respirator. It cannot be a lower. You can't just run around all day with a lower face guard and call that a respirator. It has to be something clearly identifiable as some. It doesn't have to be real, but it has to be clearly some form of gas mask. So I've seen people take filters and glue them onto their lowers and use that. If you want to do that, that's fine. It just has to be, and it's for the refs. So the ref can see it and he can referee the game by identifying that you have a gas mask from at least 15 to 25 feet away. That's sort of the rule of thumb that I go by. I want to knock this out real quick because I have a few more things to cover, and we're already like 35 minutes in. The command structure for the event. I am a major fan of well-organized factions because the one thing that I think stinks at a lot of milsims, and it's not the producers, it's not the players, it's just due to the fact that, you know, one guy's the CO, he might have an XO, and then everybody else is just there to shoot. And, you know, every once in a while you get somebody that comes out of the woodwork who really dedicates themselves to being like a badass platoon leader or something, but that might be it. And the reason the Army is set up, or the military in general is set up the way it is because one dude can't, you know, individually command 250 guys at once. So we've taken that into account for this event. You have your battalion commander and his battalion XO. In addition to that, you're going to have a company commander and a company XO. Those company commanders, we've let the COs choose them, but we've let them know we expect them to be top-notch commanders and to focus on their command role specifically. So that means staying on the radio, having a map, you know, controlling the forces throughout the battlefield to make sure that everything stays coherent. That's really going to bring a much stronger dynamic to the milsim aspect than just letting you all go loose. And then the CO is like, all right, we got to do the thing over there. And then everybody goes over there. There needs to be operational command at a lower level. So we've really come in and taken that into account for this event, especially with the amount of players and with the space. So we have those dedicated players. So when you're getting ready to start doing your planning and you're talking to your CO, don't just find out who your faction CO is. Find out who your Dragon Company commander is, your Delta Company commander, your Iron Company commander, because they're really going to be the ones that you're going to be working with. And I think that that'll really bring a much stronger organization aspect to the event, and I think it'll really enhance the event. After that, after your company commander, that's 75 players or more, there's the 3 companies. Everything below that is 100% up to the company commander. That's when you're getting into your teams, your squads, your platoons. So there should, theoretically at least, there should be, about 10 platoon lead positions for each faction that have not been filled yet. Those are not admin positions. They're not, we don't pick them. It's up to the commanders. But each company should have 3 platoon leaders. Each platoon should have 3 squad leaders. So if you aren't one of those people, there's still a really good chance for you to go out there and show them what you've got and be a platoon leader, really step up and help command the troops on the battlefield. Keep everybody organized, keep everybody, in the fight, make sure everybody's doing well, make sure they stay focused on their objective. And going forward, the company commanders we've chosen, we're going to look to them in the future for a pool of possible COs. And we're going to ask the company commanders to let us know who their platoon commanders were, because we're going to keep an eye on them as well. And then maybe, hopefully, those become company commanders. So there will be some form of upward momentum for people who really want to commit to that, I guess, officer LARPing role in the event. Because at the end of the day, there's a reason that there's officers on the battlefield. It's so that they can focus on all the minutia bullshit, like looking at the map and manning the radio, and everybody else can focus on doing the shooting, which is the fun part. To take a breath and check these comments.
Absolutely. No, that's just. Did you answer the question about the assault class immune? Are you doing the classes like you've done before with Mini Milsim?
So no. So the classes in Mini Milsim
Okay.
are specifically for new players. Everybody gets a class in Mini Milsim, but they're so players can focus on a role. But at a real Milsim, at just Milsims in general, most Milsims you don't have classes. Everybody out there is just a foot soldier. So there is no assault, there is no support, there is no medic.
Yeah,
So,
the COs work it out once they get their roster, because it is, by like a rifleman class in some of them, but you kind of report in as squads to say what you've got. But there still are some events that you can buy rifleman class, but in this one it's just straight up tan or green, right?
mhm.
I got you. I got you.
That means buddy medics in play. Everybody is a medic. Everybody can do, medical whatever. And it doesn't matter if it's their first time, their second time getting hit. Everybody can medic, pretty much everybody. Anybody can carry spare ammo onto the battlefield. Anybody can carry spare water. Anybody can carry more grenades. The Mini Milsim class system is so players who want to focus on those roles specifically are locked in to practice doing that. But at a bigger event, anybody could do it, and somebody really needs to commit to doing it, but it's much less restrictive. Take another sip.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I got a couple notes here. For those of you that watched the beginning video or watched any of the videos, it was actually the AO scan and picture videos. There's been 2 or 3 now, but there's been a lot of focus on the main 3 and 4-story building in the video. So if you've watched the videos, you'll see it. And I wanted, from this perspective, this map that you see in front of you right now, yeah, you could probably guess which building it is, but I wanted to point it out because when you see those videos and they're scanning around this building, I want to give you a perspective. The perspective is that building is actually in the middle of the AO. It's right here. That's the building right there. It's right in the middle of this massive AO with homes, buildings all over the place. Yes, that building's exciting, but there's so much more going on elsewhere in the AO. For some reason, that let me move around. But anyway, that I just wanted to point that out for those of you that when you watch the videos, it's like, oh, scan around this 3-story building that has a 4-story section in it. That's in the middle, baby. If you're there, you can go anywhere and enjoy wood life or more buildings or fields or whatever. Absolutely epic. And yes, Matt just mentioned something very, very important. Everyone's a medic. Okay, so we don't have to worry about designated medics, but you still have to follow the medic rules. I was actually sitting here trying to bring up the rule set on it to show everybody, but it's all there. Just go to StrykerAirsoftIndustries.com. And it's there. They've got it there, the rule set for you guys to look over. Make sure you follow it. Yes, there's some common things with other mil sims, but there could be some things that are a little different. make sure you look over those medic rules because yeah, there's going to be refs out there and they're going to be watching for, war crimes,
Yeah.
and we don't want to foul that up because that hurts your team as a whole. So that's it. Go ahead, Matt. Sorry.
Somebody asked about reloading magazines on the field. I want to say yes, but I'm not going to commit to that. I don't remember all of our rules off the top of my head. I'm just going to say go read the rules. I'll make a post about that. I'll remember to post about that on the event page whenever I get to do that.
Okay, somebody did just ask about drones and RCs.
I will have to think about drones. Our official stance is no on drones. We had an issue at one event with a drone, and we haven't allowed them since then. I may take another look at that before the event happens.
So, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Drones can be a hazard, and also it's people will sometimes it can become issues, especially if one side has a bunch of drones and nobody else does, and players start shooting at them, that kind of thing. It can get in a political state. It can get kind of messy for the producer. So yes, that's why not all milsim producers allow drones. So I hope that answered your question there, Mr. Kyle Henry. Thanks for the question. It's a good one there.
I wanted to answer the ammo capacity. I'm 100% sure we have an ammo capacity limit. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. I think it's like riflemen's 1,000 rounds and LMGs 5,000 rounds, something like that. You can carry as much spare ammunition as you want, but there's a limit to how many magazines or how many rounds loaded in a magazine you can have. I know that's in there somewhere. I don't remember what it is off the top of my head. This is why Lunder's supposed to be here, so he can be on these live streams, and because that's what he got. As you see here in section C1-38, it says you can have 1.5 magazines, but he's not here. Let's see.
I'm going to see if I can find it real quick for you.
RC cars. The problem with RC cars becomes the same problem with drones. So I'll say that I'll revisit that again now that we're at a bigger event. It's 18 and older. The problem becomes not that the drone itself is going to hurt anyone, but that someone will fuck up your drone or break your $1,500 RC car because they're built some hunga bunga and they take it and throw it because they don't want it to be there, and then everything fucking broken. So that's really the issue. So I'll take another look at that.
Let's see, reloading.
Mr. Schmidt, there won't be any taking of prisoners, but you can have players searched for intel. I guess that lets me circle back to the thing that I wanted to talk about, and then we can, keep answering these questions. Bill, I come from a long-standing thing of customer service, so I have a hard time not answering people's questions. But yeah, go read the rules. If you haven't read the rules and you're asking me basic rope questions, go read the rules. They're on the website. But what I wanted to circle back to with the whole searching people for intelligence thing, this is our first really big, more milsim than game type event. And we're definitely not to the point where Milsim West is. I've heard the stories. I've seen gameplay from Milsim West, and they're like a whole nother level. But we want to try and dive into that dynamic. We don't want it to be like, oh, we're fighting over, our hoop point system because there's point boxes everywhere. Because it, at least in my opinion, it takes away from the essentially the LARPing of the game. So with our op boards that we're designing, with the missions that we have in mind, with the objectives that we're putting into play, there's a lot more focus with, okay, what's something realistic that could happen here? What is something that it makes sense to be fighting over this building? What is something to where we're not just putting a box somewhere arbitrary to force players there? How can we make the players fight over strategic positions to make that more like an interesting game dynamic? Because when you deploy a battalion of infantry into combat, you typically don't go, okay, guys, well, we have to control that building because the point box is there, and we have to go to this building because there's 3 ammo boxes there that we have to bring back to our HQ. Typically, that's not the thing. Typically, a unit would be deployed to a facility like this, and they'd be like, all right, we are here to take the facility. And your commander would identify strategic points of interest where you would set up overwatches or checkpoints or whatever the case may be. So we really want to let the players focus on that. It's Milsim because you guys make it Milsim. It's not Milsim because I make it Milsim. You guys make it Milsim by the way that you play, the way that you maneuver, what you deem as strategically important. If you deem the thing in the middle of nowhere that no one's ever going to walk by strategically important, then so be it. It may not be very Milsim for you, but if that's what you think is important, then it is. And with that, you'll be allowed to focus more on things like choke points, on things like high ground, on things like strategically significant buildings, rather than, okay, this building over here that has no strategic value as far as the gameplay is concerned is an objective, so we're forced to go over there. We want to make sure that we really dial in on that, because at the end of the day, you're only going to win the battle if you treat it like a battle. You're not going to win the battle if you treat it like a basketball game and only go after the points. You have to play smart. You have to play as a unit. You have to play together. You have to focus on buildings and positions that are going to build on each other to make sure that each little inch of ground you gain is part of the plan. It's going to allow you to win the game more. Everything is, I think they call it positive feedback. Every room you take, every building you take, every, house on the outside the wire you take, you use it for its strategic advantage. And we'll build the objectives into that. And we really want you guys to focus on that. Listen to your command staff, all that stuff. I'm just kind of rambling at this point because I'm really passionate about that part. Will there be airstrikes? The answer is yes, there will be airstrikes. We're deciding what we're going to allow the commanders to have access to, because I don't want it to be a game of Battleship where they're just randomly bombarding parts of the field with nukes, essentially. The one thing that we have confirmed is that the top floor of the hospital, the 4th floor, is going to be an observation post for artillery spotting. Whichever team controls the top floor of the hospital will have access to a mortar strike or an artillery strike or whatever we end up writing it into the event, upwards as. And they'll be able to use that every so often. Only the team right now that controls, he's pulling it up, only the team that controls that 4th floor of the hospital will have access to artillery support, because essentially that is the only faction that's going to have eyes on observers to where they're going to drop those bombs on the coordinates that they're looking. Are there any parts of the field, a safety standpoint, that will be off limits? The places that and this is another reason we're going back for a site walk, all the places that we walked initially are totally safe. There's one area where they're storing some police training stuff there that's going to be off limits, but that's a very, very, very small building area that we're not too worried about. But everything inside the wire is 100% safe. There's nothing that you're going to walk into a room and it's going to collapse on you. I think the only safety hazard is that some of the hospital windows are missing, and they're floor-to-ceiling windows. But we're going to tape those all off with caution tape so that nobody's going to fall off over the side. But we want to check all of the neighborhood buildings 100% to make sure that they're all enterable. I've been told that they are, but I'm not going to take anybody's word on it. I'm going to go and personally make sure that every building is safe to play in.
Okay, Matt, we got the question about unless you answered it when I wasn't paying attention, any rules on getting intel from captured players?
No, there will be some form of intel on captured players. We're not doing it where captured players have to divulge, random intelligence to you, but we may have on certain players envelopes that have pieces of intelligence. It may be a copy of the enemy's map. It may be a couple of the enemy's objectives listed out, something like that. But there will be players scattered around that will have some form of intelligence for you to search on.
Great. Are you going to have scavenger hunts or perks or objects to hive a team or upend or any intel kind of thing?
I don't even know what that means. I
think what they're trying to play is there going to be random stuff around that you can find that will be like intel that may help to hurt the other team in any way. Just with scavenger hunt, they say it's probably just random. You might bump into it like, oh, what's that? Go over there, and it's actually intel. like we had a Dragon Siege 1 where they found the canister.
I cannot
Yeah.
confirm or deny that. I will say that
Okay.
once the efforts have been released to your command staff, you will have to check with them to figure out, what is important in your deployment. No,
I
you
just
will absolutely not be allowed on the rooftops. We walked the rooftops on several buildings, and I
there's no
am
there's
very
no railing.
confident. It's not even that there's no walls to keep you from falling off. I am very
Right.
confident from having walked the roofs that you may fall through the roof on some of these buildings. So
Oof.
we're not
Oof.
letting anybody up there.
Oof. Question from Chad Morgan. Have you guys already established a command staff? I know that question as a yes, but I don't know if the complete command staff the whole form of it has been completed. Matt would know that one.
Yes, so your CO and XO have already been chosen. The 3 company commanders for each company have already been chosen. The only positions left available, to my knowledge at least, are platoon leaders, squad leaders, and if any of the company commanders want to utilize the position of XO, it'll be still a ticketed player. It won't be a free position, but if any of the COs for the companies want to have an XO, those might still be available as well. We're going to be releasing that information about who is the company COs in the next couple of weeks so that you can reach out to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got some, especially on the tan side. Tan side's motivated, man. A lot of stuff going on. I've noticed some other, any of the objectives movable or allowed to be moved, which is the same
When the
thing.
operates come out, we will let you know.
There you go. Yes, the op board's going to have a lot of information. We're still 3.5 to 3 month, 3 weeks out from the event, and I've seen big events where I'm not going to mention any names, but one of the most popular event holders in the southeastern United States, they didn't put on an op board until like a month before the event. But these guys, Stryker Airsoft Industries, is working on finalizing the op board, and a lot of these questions will be answered in that. And Matt doesn't have confirmation on some of them, so that's why it's kind of wait on the op board. But Matt, I got to say, you're doing a great job of answering all these questions. I'm doing my best to try to try to keep up with everybody. I think it's fantastic. We've got a lot of eyes on us right now, and a lot of questions, and this is fantastic. For some of you, if I bump over your
Really?
questions,
There is footage. Oh, you can't. I mean, there it is. There's the neighborhood. I didn't think there was any footage. You could see it for like a half a second, but there it was. I'm
which one
really
are you
excited
talking
about
about?
the neighborhoods.
Which one? This one right here?
Yeah, because they're going to
Right
sweep. Oh,
there.
there it is. So there they
Yeah.
are. There's all the neighborhoods. There's the buildings. You can see they're pretty big for residential structures, and they go off into the distance. You can't even see them all because there's so many of them.
No, they are in the aerials, the higher up aerials. Like I think you can see it in this video. No, or is it the next one? Yes, no, not that one. It's off to the left. There they are, kind of to the left, right over here. That's the neighborhoods. And in the big screen, the map right here, right here. This is all the neighborhoods, right? Did you talk about, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have too
These are,
much drone footage of all of the neighborhoods. We could and that one that you showed, you can kind of see like the very, very end bottom corner, but
I
we'll
got
get
you.
footage.
Yeah, and these are not just little two-person houses, everybody. These are large structures for holding a lot of people. So the image here is a little misleading. And as I said, next time we're out there, going to get a little bit more detailed. I'll zoom the drone down down that road so everybody can see how that pans out. These buildings are bigger than they look. I could talk about it forever, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go back to looking at questions. So we're cooking.
We are in the middle of having food trucks. We're debating who we're going to use and whether or not we're going to have like specific trucks. Like we're talking about whether or not we're going to have specifically like an ice cream truck or something like that. But there will be some form of food vendors. That kind of circles me back to the evolutions. So Evo 1 is bloody long. It's not a 24-hour game, but Evo 1 is from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So whether there are vendors on site or not, you are going to need food for the first day because the game does not stop. You're probably going to want to have your team hold up in a building for about 30 minutes, rest, eat some frickin' cold soup out of a can and then keep going, because the first Evo is bloody long. And to the second question about airsoft vendors, there might be at least one airsoft vendor maybe there. There's going to be airsoft vendors there. And
RC Airsoft has merged with Grey Wolf Airsoft. We're bringing out more product lines and total number than has ever been seen at an RC Airsoft when we vended, and we've vended 500 plus player events before, but we're bringing out more products, more opportunity to find really cool stuff, and of course all your really cool supplies that you need, your expendables, your BBs, your batteries, your gas, that kind of thing. Obviously, yes, and there's going to be a lot more than just us. Oh yeah, they're building quite a list, and they'll announce that later. So there will be a vendors row.
we're in the middle of taking in a list of vendors, and we're going through them, checking who we're going to use. We don't want to put a million billion vendors out there. It'd be better for us because we get whatever the vendor fee is for every single vendor. But we want to make sure that the vendors that do come, they have the fair opportunity to be profitable and have the chance to go and see all the players and all that stuff. Because at least in my mind, just so everybody can kind of get a glimpse into my head, we look at every single aspect of the event. That means we look at what food trucks we're inviting to make sure that we're not having food trucks that are going to, knock people out after they eat. We look at where we're going to place the vendors strategically next to the camping site to make sure that there's maximum pass-through. Every little detail we look at, and we want to make sure that the vendors that we invite and the sponsors that we have just as good a time as the players. And the problem becomes is that if you have a huge crowded field of vendors, it doesn't really work out for any of the vendors because nobody makes any money from coming there, because it takes a lot. Like everybody here can ask Ron, it takes a lot of personnel, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of prep to actually come out there and put everything together and put on a good quality vending experience for the players. So we don't want to have 35 retailers out there all competing with each other, because it'd be great because everybody has 35 retailers, but we have to be fair to everybody, and that means we're fair to the vendors, because at the end of the day, it's the exact same reason we don't directly vend our BBs. We are focused on making sure that the fields, the vendors, the actual centers of the nucleus for airsoft in all of your individual areas, we're making sure that they are the focus of everything. And we push that through to the events.
Absolutely. Sorry, did I interrupt you there? My bad. So anyway, there is a scene. Let me go back to the video we just put out. Was it this one? Hold on. No, that's the old one.
I'll say it a million times. There's no power, there's no water. There's no power, there's no water. We'll have porta potties, but there's no power, there's no water. Bring a generator if you got one. Bring a crap ton of fresh water so you can drink it. And then just be dirty for the weekend.
There they are. There's the neighborhood. That's half the neighborhood right there.
Half of the neighborhood, yeah. So they're the weirdest freaking living buildings I have seen. We were driving up to it for the first time, and me and Linda were talking about it. We're like, pretty sure those are residential buildings. They looked just so weird because they were made for like multiple families to live in each one. The design of the house was strange.
Yeah, and the picture on the screen is only a handful of them. They keep going to the right, or actually that would be like northeast or southeast, for several more structures that are the community. And this is all part of the AO. I love the diversity of these buildings. It's just really awesome that you can be in a house, or you can be in a hospital, you can be in a barracks, or you could be at some shed, or you could be at the gymnasium, all on one property, all in one day. You never know what's going to happen. It's really, really cool. I'm so excited.
We're getting kind of to the end. It's been about do the rooms have doors? Okay, so this will be the last thing, and then we'll start to wrap it up because it's been about an hour. The buildings themselves are exactly the way they were when the facility stopped being in use. The Guardian Center is great, but it's not like the Guardian Center. It's not a bunch of specific training buildings. These were actual buildings. The hospital was a real hospital. The barracks buildings were real barracks. The mess hall was a real mess hall. There's a dentistry. There's a 2-story motel. There's a 1-story motel. There's a chapel. There's the what we call the A-frame buildings. That those were like the get well buildings that people weren't critical, but they go there. These are all real structures. They actually have furniture in most of them. The dentist's office still has dentist crap in it.
Don't
So
take the furniture home. Don't take the
no,
furniture
you can't
home.
take
Okay,
the
leave it
furniture
there.
home. But there are doors on everything, and we're going to put into the rules, and we're going to talk about it on the day of at the safety brief for everybody who goes to the safety brief, how to interact with the doors. You can't use the doors as barricades. You can't hold them while somebody else is trying to get in, which that'll rope me into what I'm talking about next, which is the amount of the facility that we're using is a lot. We're getting a lot here, but there's a lot more that we might be able to use in the future. If we treat this place with the respect that it deserves and we leave it just the way that we found it and we don't break everything that we come across or piss in the corners of buildings like some apparently airsofters have a tendency to do that, if we treat it with respect, we will come back next year and we're looking at possibly doubling the size of the AO because there's so much more that we could have. But this is the very, very first airsoft event, to my knowledge, that's ever been here. And so it has all of the, skepticalness from the ownership that comes with that because they don't really know how it's going to go. They don't really know how we're going to leave the place. My staff is going to clean the place up better than we found it. But we don't have the capacity to fix doors that you guys kick in. We don't have the capacity to fix windows that you break. We don't have the capacity to clean up, a room that half burnt down because somebody thought they were going to throw a smoke grenade in there. I am pleading everybody. We got this place for you guys to have fun in. We're taking care of everything on the staff side to make sure that you guys have a great game. All I'm asking is you guys leave this place the way you found it so we can come back and do something even better in the future.
Yeah, especially since it's the first time anybody's ever been here. So leave a good impression. If you want to see this AO again and again and again over the next 2 decades or whatever it's going to last, the first impression is the most important, guys and gals. We got to take care of this. Have fun, play your aggressiveness, but don't be irresponsible. Don't be disrespectful. That kind of thing. And that's what I think Matt is saying. I'm going to buzz you through a couple of things I saw here, Matt, because we're kind of on the downline. Even though we have 43 people still watching. We love you. Thank you very much. We're hoping we're keeping up with the questions. I had the question: the U-Hauls, are the U-Hauls going to be inside or outside the wire, Matt?
They're going to be used mostly for transportation to outside the wire. However, we are going to build in. We're still working on how we're going to do that mechanically, but we have agreed as a staff that we want to build in that every once in a while a U-Haul will go through the main inside the wire part and what they call meat wagon and pick up players who are already dead and take them back to their spawns just to cut down on some of the walking.
Yes.
But mostly they will be used specifically for transport. We don't want players getting worn out. So we're going to use them the best that we can to get players from point A to point B without a ton of walking and to pick up players who are dead. There's not going to be a situation where, oh, this is the green one, this is the tan one. They're step one. They don't care. If you're dead, we'll take you
neutral.
back.
Yeah, they're neutral. Leave them alone. They're just they're Ubers, man, that you don't have to pay for. So yeah, respect them as that. So there's no faction specific vehicles used for transport, but there's what you might call general transport. Thank you to Chris Gonzalez, second best part of these ops are the vendors. I love you. I really do. You're absolutely right. These vendors put in a lot of time, effort, and money into being out there to provide the products you guys can. And if people, I know I've had a business now for 7 years. If people think we make a bunch of money when we go out there, no. Let's just think of the word 14%. Okay, that's the average revenue, positive revenue per sale. That's not very high. That's airsoft. So, but we're out there. We want to communicate and mingle with the community. Yes, sell some stuff to pay for our trip and get out there. And some of us might get a chance to play. Jumping on to the next one, Skylar is awesome, always saying stuff. Whoop, I didn't show it. Skylar's always, oh, I lost it. Where'd it go? There it is. There we go. Skylar, can't wait. Excited for this new AO. Absolutely, Skylar. Thank you. So many people are. And if you're hanging on the fence, you know, do I go to this or not? This is a brand new AO. This has never had airsoft on it before. It's got buildings. It's got 500 players. It's got 80 acres. It's got, I'm not just saying just regular buildings. It's got a multitude of different types of buildings, multi-story buildings, dozens of total buildings, and an experience that very few people on this planet have ever seen. And it's just absolutely amazing. Check out the videos. Thank you very much. I can't read Zach. Yeah, about to be the best AO. If we leave it the way we found it or in better condition, good chances of coming back, multiple times a year. Very excited about that. Porta potties. That's a question. I don't know if you saw that, Matt.
Yeah, we're gonna have porta potties. We might even be able to splurge when we sell out tickets. Because I say when, because we're gonna sell out.
Yeah, it's gonna sell out.
Some of those stations as well. But we'll definitely have porta potties at the camping area. We'll put a couple porta potties at the CP so you guys don't have to shit in the hole and cover it in. We'll take care of you guys. Don't worry about it.
Looks like somebody counted them up. There's 17 residential buildings alone, just on the AO. The rest are hospitals and barracks and gymnasiums and sheds and whatever else they've got out there. So fucking cool. I'm sorry. I don't usually cuss, but this is just really cool. That question's been answered. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm trying to review these before we get off because we try to only do these for an hour. We're already up to way past that. We love you for being here. We're just trying to get the information out to you. So give me a second here. I did have a question about HPA fills. Yes. RC Airsoft, Grey Wolf Airsoft, we are supplying airsoft fills. Tickets will come on sale in the next few weeks. It's going to be lights set up for the night game. As far as I know, no. Correct, Matt?
The buildings will be pitch black.
Pitch black.
Part of the new props that we're getting, we're looking to get a couple generators and a couple floodlights. Those of you who went to the night raid mission at Mini Milsom 5 saw a couple of our floodlights. We're hoping that we can get some illumination on some of the buildings, but it's definitely not like we're going to flip the light switch and all the lights are going to come on in the whole facility. It's definitely going to be, the inside will be pitch black, the outside might have some floodlights, and then that'll be it.
Okay, pitch black, everybody. Come prepared. Red lights, green lights, flashlights. Well, I don't really like flashlights anymore. Yeah, night vision. This will have night games, not games. It's part of, is that the third or second Evo? Abolition 2. Evo 2 goes from 8 to 10:30. And it will be dark, really dark. We'll be lucky. It'll be awesome if you have a moon, especially for the night ops guys or whatever, night optics guys. But yeah, be prepared to play at night. It's going to be awesome. Night's the cooler temperature time to play too. So don't wear yourself out during the day.
We're going to have something really cool for the night portion.
Yeah, they will.
I already talked about it with Linder. It's not going to be just the day portion at night. We're going to have something specific. There's a reason that it's only so long. We're going to have something specifically designed that's going to be really, really cool for the night portion. It's still going to be worth points. It's still going to be worth everything, but it's going to be very focused. It's going to be very, you guys will see.
All right. If you made it this far, thank you very much. I'm not ending it. I am actually jumping in with something that I did not discuss with Matt before we started this, but I wanted to I want to see responses from people. Who wants a joint task force Friday night, separate missions, separate tickets for Friday night? Can't do them Saturday night because this event goes till 10:30 at night. But who wants some special night missions exclusive for ticket purchasers? Just all you got to do is say yes in the comments, or hell yes, or yes please, or give it to me daddy, whatever. Mark them up, throw them in there if you want that now, or if you're just watching this later on. I'd like to see the response on that. Night missions specifically that are set up for night ops, that's away from the regular Casevac storyline. It'll be you're a badass. You go out with a group and you do some really kick-ass shit. Let me know. Pop it on there. Send us a message on RC Airsoft. Send a pigeon of facts, whatever. I just want to see what people got to say about that. Also, looking at my notes, whoever asked about ammo capacities, check the op board when that comes out. And let's see, treat it like a girl you want to marry. Oh, I like that, Christian. Awesome. Treat the place like a girl you want to marry. There you go. Cool. A lot of comments about the doors. Thank you for the respect on that. Just don't rip up doors. You know, we want to come back to this place. More tan fruiting. There goes green. Yeah, I love it. 10 replying, Matthew, hell yeah, rejections. Delta, the Reapers, all this stuff. You guys are just freaking pumped. Love it. That is awesome.
I mean, we really want to bring this place. This is going to put Florida on the map. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
The prison was great, and it's been great, but it's kind of starting to fall apart a little bit. They are having trouble getting people to actually even, rent the place out because of what's going on with the ownership. This is going to put Florida on the map. Florida is going to become a MILSIM destination. No longer will you have to drive 5 hours outside of Florida just to go and play at a really big event. We are going to lock this place down. We are going to freaking get this event under our belts. We're going to hopefully, double the size of the AO. Maybe next time we, bring in the vehicles if we can't get them this time. Maybe next time we have even more crap. This is going to be the start of something really, really cool. And I'm very excited for everybody who's going to be part of that first time out here on the AO.
We just got a question about the ticket count. I was getting ready to respond. Climbing close to 300. Are we there? Getting close to 300, Matt?
Almost. We're almost there.
Almost to 300, baby. Almost to 300, and the ticket's only been on sale for like 33 days.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome, man. I love it. I'm not making money off of ticket sales. I'm not. I'm just a separate guy over here on the side, and I think it's freaking awesome because everybody's starting to catch that breeze about how badass this is going to be. I am super excited for everybody gets to play. I'm going to be there running multiple vendorship kind of stuff going on. So I will be busy. I might walk around and see if I can get shot a few times, but that'll be about it. I think I finally got to the end. Love you guys and girls.
People want to know if the guidons are coming back. The answer is yes. If you were not at Mini Milsim 5, you have no idea what's going on with these guidons. Each company has their specific guidon. So there's a huge 5 foot by 3 foot flag for each company.
Oh, those things. Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Each company
those are awesome.
For carrying their guidon into battle. And it's very much a pride thing for that company.
It's a trophy. It's a trophy, baby. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So, I've gotten to the end of the list. Everybody, please. As you know, if you watched me, when I'm sitting here looking like in this exact motion, I'm sitting there scanning through questions. If we missed them, I'm sorry. Go ahead and re-ask them after, because we're about to end up here. We've been online. We've had well over 40 people at times on this. Thank you. We love you. Thank you very much for your support. Christian just asked if you can steal it. Can you steal the flag?
Hell yeah. Not only can you steal it, like we did last time, if your company guidon gets stolen, everyone is going to find out about it because we will let you know that your company guidon got stolen. Hell
yes. That's the medal on the chest, baby. That's the special patch almost. That is amazing. That is just, I get it. We were doing it during one of the last Doomsday events, the one down in DeLand, and we captured flags, and we were all like, yeah, check it out. We got this flag. It's a trophy, baby. It's a trophy. Everybody, I am just loading up the... All right, if you watched the beginning of this, you saw the first video. The second video we just created, I'm going to throttle up the second video to go here. Let's see here. Maybe I won't. Wrong one. So you guys can see more of the AO from a different perspective. Oh, there it is. There's the first one. I'll get that ready so you guys can see that if you want to watch some little entertainment at the end here. But I want to tell everybody, thank you very much for jumping on. Send us messages. Facebook for RC Airsoft. Man, we're transmitting to like 6 or 7 different social medias here. But the big ones are Stryker Airsoft Industries, Facebook. There's a messenger link. And same with RC Airsoft. Also, Grey Wolf Airsoft, Facebook. Message us through there. We do our best to try to keep track of all of them. With large events like this, any major event, Hope producer can tell you, we can't always get through. We don't always see the notifications. We might catch them a few days later. We're doing our best. Stealing a flag. Oh, we're still going off here. But anyway, I want to post all this stuff up, but we have been cooking for an hour and almost 20 minutes. Love it. I could do it all day, but this is a recorded thing, so people are going to watch this later. It's like, dude, it's an hour and 20 minutes long. Oh, my God. But I hope we grabbed all the information that we could give out to you guys. Wait for the, if you somehow still got a question, maybe it's in the op board. Wait for the op board to come out, which will happen soon. Message us, like I already mentioned. Matt is a super fantastic guy about answering messages. He always answers mine, so that must mean he answers all of them. And that's it, everybody. Matt, do you have any last words to say?
What I want to say is that I really appreciate everybody that supported us through the evolutions of Stryker even becoming a company and getting to this point with an event. We went from mini Milstom 1, we had like 30 people there, and now we're here. We're bringing a brand new event. We're going to have 500, plus people with multiple vendors. It's been a fantastic journey. And honestly, there have been plenty of times where putting the event together has been stressful, or I've wanted to quit, or we've gotten a lot of negative feedback for one event or the other, but we've always learned from it. And we've always listened to the community, and that's what we do it for. We love putting these events on for you guys. We love to make sure that there is this place where the best of the best players can come and play at a really cool place for a weekend. It's just fantastic, and I really appreciate that you guys continue to allow me to have the ability to set these up for everybody.
Awesome. Well said. Mr. Matt Boyle from Stryker Airsoft Industries. I'm RC Ron from RC Airsoft / Grey Wolf Airsoft / Wasteland Airsoft. Oh, my goodness. But anyway, thank you, everybody, for showing up here. 1 minute and 20-second video here. It's going to throw up just to end it up. It's more images of the AO. Wait for that op board. Message us if you still got some very important questions. We're going to do our best to answer them. And once again, thank you for coming on. We can't wait to see you guys again. All right, Matt, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, cool, everybody. Myself up. Have yourself one hell of a good night, and we'll see you. I screwed that up. Here it comes. My bad. Love you guys. See you guys at Op Casevac. It's going to be awesome. Have a good night.